You ever complain about your job? Like, ugh, my boss emailed me at 8 p.m. Because humans used to work jobs so weird that if you told them to a career counselor today, they'd look at you like, "Sir, that's not a job. That's a cry for help." So today, we're going back in time to meet the people whose careers were, let's say, creatively unnecessary. Welcome to The Lost Jobs Humans Don't Talk About Anymore. The knocker-upper. Before alarm clocks existed, British people were like, how do we wake up on time? And instead of inventing anything logical, they hired someone whose full-time job was poking people's windows with a giant stick.
Hey, wake up. The Industrial Revolution needs your spine.
A knocker-upper walked around at dawn, tapping windows. Some used pea shooters. Imagine opening your eyes because someone blasted a dried pea at your forehead. Peak British engineering. During the early Industrial Revolution, factory schedules demanded strict timing. Knocker-uppers were trusted to wake entire streets and had to remember different schedules for different households. Missing a wake-up could mean lost wages or factory penalties for workers. They were often paid weekly by the families they woke, making this one of the earliest examples of neighborhood-based service jobs. As alarm clocks became cheaper and widely available, this job slowly disappeared. All right, let's move from "please tap my window" to something that smells a whole lot worse. The gong farmer. A gong farmer cleaned medieval toilets, and medieval toilets were just holes. Holes filled with everything humanity regrets. Their job was to climb down there and scoop it out with a bucket. Let's call it aroma-intensive history. They worked at night, so fewer people would watch them question their life choices. But here's the twist. They were paid really well, because absolutely no one else wanted to do it. Despite how unpleasant it was, this job was essential. Cities without proper sanitation faced serious health risks, including contaminated wells and disease outbreaks. Gong farmers transported waste far outside city walls or to designated dumping grounds. Over time, some regions even regulated their routes and schedules to reduce health risks. Okay, let's get out of the sewer and go somewhere only slightly less terrible. The leech collector. Old-timey medicine was basically, if it wiggles and does nothing, yeah, that's probably a cure. Leech collectors walked into swamps and let leeches attach to them so doctors could use them for everything. Headache? Leech. Leg pain? 2 leeches. Leeches hurting you? More leeches. Leeches were used in bloodletting treatments, based on the belief that removing blood could rebalance bodily fluids. Collectors had to know which waters produced healthy leeches and how to preserve them alive for medical use. This work declined as scientific medicine replaced traditional theories.
Hi, boss. I'm here to be aggressively sucked on for 8 hours.
All right, from being drained by leeches, let's move to a job that's even more disturbing. The resurrectionist. Medical schools needed bodies for anatomy class. The law said you can't just take bodies, so resurrectionists said, okay, but what if we borrow them? These guys dug up freshly buried bodies and sold them to medical schools at night. Illegal? Yes. Profitable? Extremely. But they didn't plan for graveyard dogs. Imagine losing your entire career because a golden retriever snitched on you.
No witnesses.
Except me.
You're just a dog.
And you're unemployed.
They targeted recent burials because preservation methods were limited. Speed mattered more than anything. This underground trade continued until anatomy laws were changed and legal systems for body donation were established. Let's move on before the police arrive. The human computer. Before computers were things we spill coffee on, a computer was just a person who did math all day. NASA had human computers. Astronomy had human computers. People kept hiring humans to calculate the universe manually. Imagine introducing yourself at a party. What do? I am Windows 0.001. Human computers worked in teams, often double-checking each other's results to minimize errors. Their calculations helped map the skies, predict eclipses, and later guide early space missions. As electronic computers improved in speed and reliability, this role slowly vanished. All right, last one. Let's cool off, literally. The ice cutter. Before refrigerators, ice came from frozen lakes. Workers used giant saws in freezing weather, hoping the ice wouldn't suddenly break and send them straight into the plot of a survival documentary. They hauled massive ice blocks into storage houses and shipped them worldwide. Basically early Amazon delivery, but everything is slippery and actively trying to kill you. Ice houses were insulated with straw or sawdust to slow melting. Entire food industries depended on the system to store meat and dairy year-round. The ice trade collapsed rapidly once electric refrigeration became affordable and widespread. Okay, let's wrap this up before we freeze too. So yeah, whatever job you have today, just remember, you're doing great, And at least you're not knee-deep in medieval toilet soup. See ya.